What's going on, everybody? Eric Bourassa here, back for another Third Eye Blind classic from the greatest rock album of all time, and I will debate anyone on that point. Third Eye Blind's 1997 self-titled album, Good For You. This is one of my absolute favorite songs on this perfect album. So that's saying a lot, because you've got this album with 0 bad songs on it. Every song is great, and this deep cut is one of my favorites. This is also one of the biggest songs I think I've ever heard. It's just so massive, and I've been trying to recreate that sound in my piddly little home studio. It's been quite the learning process. I want to be able to recreate that sound. Anyway, let's dive in. We're in drop D tuning. Right, so you've got D, A, D, G, B, E. There are like 7 different guitars, allegedly, on this song, and 3 different tunings. I'm gonna show you how you can play this entire song just in drop D tuning, right? A lot of Kevin Cadigan's tunings are like open D add 9, super fun tunings, but you have to change a lot of strings. So for this one, we just get to lower the E string 6 to our dropped D. All right, so the intro goes like this. Okay, so that first chord, we've got 12, skip, 12, 11, 10, open. And it's really just like a D add 9. It's just that, basically, but it's a cool voicing. And I tried recording it with low open 6, and I found that that low open D kind of just got in the way, and it actually does make more sense to play it this way. But if that fingering is real challenging for you, you could do this. And then the next chord, this B flat 5, and then we're just gonna add that, right? So 10 on the 3rd string, 9 on the 3rd string, 10 on the 4th string on top of the chord. Really cool. Now the next chord is just an F power chord on the 8th fret of the 5th string, 8, 10, 10. But we're going to get that high E ringing with it to create an F major 7 sound. So what's tricky about this is you have to block that B string, but have the high E ringing, okay? So we're blocking 6, we've got string 5, string 4, string 3, blocking string 2 with kind of a little bit of my pinky and a little bit of my index finger, but then somehow curving those fingers, you gotta play with it to where that high open E rings. And then we're gonna flatten to bar, and then come back for that open E, and then back to that B flat 5, plus you just add another, what is that, 5th on top, and then a sharp 11. That's such a cool sound. Very Kevin Cadigan, lots of 9s and sharp 11s that he likes to use. And then a 9 here, right? So you've got a B5, adding another 5th, and then a sharp 11, and then a 9. Oh, I could just play that all day. So cool. Oh, so cool. All right, so then we get into the verse. This video brought to you by Cyclops. He shoots, he scores. Basically a simplified version of that intro with a clean guitar. Just doing that. I like that chord a lot. That's really neat. So that's like B. That's just B flat. What is that? B flat major 7. I want to say. Yeah, it's just B flat major 7. So we got D add 9, B flat major 7. Then this F power chord becomes F9, F add 9, and then to this B flat. So that's the verse. And then there's a little extra guitar that you can play if you want to add this for the verse. It's just something kind of like that, right? Just a little bit of color that you can add on 8, 10, 8, 7 with that high open E, and then more of the 10s, 9s, and 10s like from before. So that's just kind of a nice thing that we add. Okay, and then when we get to the pre-chorus, we're going to turn on the wah pedal, and then this is a little weird to play in drop D, but it's easier than grabbing another guitar in a different tuning. So we're gonna go. Oh, I love that! And I'll tell you, the best wah pedal for this is a Dunlop Classic Crybaby. They're inexpensive, and if you don't have a wah pedal in your arsenal, there's some really fancy, expensive ones. I've owned several, and my favorite one is still just the basic Crybaby. Anyway, so we're gonna go 12 and 10 on strings 3 and 2, and we're gonna use our pinky and our middle finger, because then we're gonna go to 10 and 8 on the first 2 strings. And then the third shape is 10 and 12 on the first 2 strings. And if you're not used to a wah pedal, I would practice having it cocked all the way back and then rolling it forward with the hits. Kind of get used to that. So for the accents, I'll usually like push it forward, but not necessarily on the downbeats. The rhythm is kind of tricky. Rather than counting it, I would just kind of feel the rhythm and listen to the recording for that, because there's some nuances in there, but that's basically the gist of that. So then we get to, so then we have a chorus, which is the same as the intro, another verse, another pre-chorus, and another chorus, just like before. And then the fourth time through the second chorus, we have this crazy riff, because the timing is so weird. But starting on 1, you've got 1 and 2 and a 1E and a 2E and a. So getting the timing of that first measure going into the bridge, the interlude, is the hardest, I feel like. You want to practice that transition into the next measure, because that's what kind of keeps the flow going of everything. So the only pause you have is on this D5 at 12. Let me do that a little bit slower. And then when you get to this F5, it's 2 hits of every chord until you return to another D5 after a C5, okay? So it's syncopated, right? So the accents are not on the downbeat, and I think that's what makes it hard, doing the 2 hits of each one. Right? Kind of like that. So that's a little tricky. And then when you hit that F5, there's a second guitar with a wah pedal that you can add, that is actually easier to play than this in an open tuning, but since we're not doing an open tuning, you're gonna grab, I don't have the tab for this, it's gonna be 12 at the 5th string, 14 at the 3rd string, 12 on the high E. So it's, it's on top of that chord that you would add that with a wah pedal. And then what happens, this is where it gets really crazy, is because you get this on top of that riff, but it starts on the final and of 4. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... It's so impossible to count. And it doesn't help that the drums start going like kick, snare, like in time with it. But the kick is on like the and of 4, and then the snare is always on the 1. So it starts to feel like it's like boom, cha, doom, cha. Like that's the new 1, but it's actually the and of the beat. It's pretty wild what's happening there. The timing is just crazy, and you have to spend a lot of time with it to get the feel of what's happening. After 4 times through that riff, we get to this ending, which goes... Okay, so it just goes through those chords once, and then immediately to that like pre-chorus riff just one time, guitar alone with a wah pedal turned on, and it's just so cool. You guys know what I'm talking about. And then everything hits again, and we're back to another big chorus. And then the chorus just continues again and goes into the solo, and it's gonna sound like this. Okay, so the hardest part about this guitar solo is how much empty space there is that you need to kind of fill, not with notes, but with noise. You don't want to do nothing because then it sounds empty, but you also don't want to play a bunch of extra notes. So what you're going to do is... Right. Do a half step bend at 11 on the 3rd string. 1, 2, 3, and you always come back. Let's see, so up, down, up, down, up, down, 12 on the 4th string with vibrato, and then same thing at the 9th fret. The whole time gently rocking that wah pedal back and forth. And what I like about Kevin Cadigan, the way he uses his wah pedal, is it's kind of like how Satriani does. His teacher, go figure, instead of doing like that Kirk Hammett thing, which another of Satriani's students, he'll just kind of gently rock that wah back and forth while he's doing those bends. And then we're gonna do the 2 9s bent. The second one's gonna be slower, and then bend that 10 up a whole step, hit it a couple extra times, shake it a lot. And then here's where you have lots of extra space. And you need to just kind of fill it with some scrapes and some slides. Do the best you can with that. And then we're going to go here to the 14th fret on the 1st string. And 14 on the 3rd string. Then back to the 9. And then we have a wrong note. That 9 on the 1st string. That resolves to 8. And what you want to do is, you can hear the open 2nd string start to ring sympathetically, meaning, I don't know, it's physics. It'll just start to ring on its own a little. Versus if I block it. And now here's not blocked. Right? That's really important, and you kind of hear it creates this tension that then leads into the ending, and the ending is just the beginning of that interlude again. But instead of doing an extra C5, you just go straight to the D5 and end with a slide down. Whew! Okay, so you guys, this is a tough song. This is one of the hardest songs on the album to play. Took me a long time to really get the feel for what's happening and get it under my belt. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Hey, like and subscribe if you dig this. And if this is the first video that you're seeing, I've done all the other songs from Third Eye Blind's album up until this one. And then I will be teaching the remainder of the album as well. You guys are great, and I've appreciated everybody's comments on the other Third Eye Blind videos. It's been fun seeing just how many people really love this album. It's my favorite album of all time. And so, yeah, you guys, I'm Eric, and I will see you in the next times.